Alright, Mopar people, welcome back to the channel. I'm just Mopar Joe. Everybody wants to know what happened at the 3rd annual No Name Nationals in the bracket race. So that's what this video is all about. I'm going to show you my first 3 time trials. Now, I only had 3 time trials, and that's all I think I needed. I'll show you those, and we'll go over some numbers. Looks like as soon as I got there off the trailer, had an excellent little reaction time, 14 with an 8, 142 60 foot, 1 to 642. So I figured I'd pick up a little bit of time. You know, the oil and everything's not warmed up, but yeah, that was about 12:30, I think. I came back around 19 minutes later, just enough the car's warmed up, and went a 640 with a 5, had another 142 and an 18 reaction. So I'm feeling pretty good here about my capabilities on the light there. And then 3rd pass, some time goes by, you see it's 2:14. I wanted to wait and get one closer to actual race time. So we sat down and waited a little while. Yeah, 60 foot dropped a little. It was the heat of the day. It went ahead and heated up. It was a warm day. So I think I went a 641 with an O there. I'm pretty sure I just dial a 641 first round. So 641 there. I did actually red light, so I was trying to be a little more careful on the lights this coming time. So I get a little sleepy, but it's not bad. But yeah, let's go into eliminations now and see what happens. Here's that ticket on the right hand side. I just left these others if you want to compare. I had a 060 reaction. His was a little bit poor there. So I was able to tap the brakes on the other end. You see the mile per hour drop to a 105 instead of a 107, which the others were. And I ran a 644. So I really think the car probably would have went another 41 that pass. This was only 2:42 p.m. See there? So yeah, about 40 minutes, 38 minutes after that time trial. So everything's looking good. We'll move on to second race. So here's that ticket. I dialed a 41 again. Reaction was a little slow with that 62 there, 141 60 foot, which we compared to earlier. That's my best 60 foot of the day, it looks like. So 141. And I went a 647. You can see my mile per hour drop drastically. So since it picked up in the 60 foot, I did have to hit the brakes pretty good there. And I went a 47 on a 41. So don't let that bother you. If I'm ahead, I like to go ahead and tap the brake so I don't break out. That's kind of the deal of bracket racing. And finish margin was 41 thousandths, almost 42 thousandths there. So all that looked good. It was plenty close, but I was just out enough. He had a .109 reaction time, which was a little bit less than ideal for sure, but so was mine. Let's do round 3.
Joe wanted a $100 bill, but he missed it by $3.
There is eliminations round 3, and that's where my practice finally paid off there. I had a 003 light, 142 60 foot, which was right in line with the others there. 142 with an 8 versus the 143. But see those earlier in the left lane, 142 with an 8, 142 with a 5. So all that's looking good. I dialed down to a 640 now, and I was standing pretty hard on the brakes. If you see that 92.4 there on the left corner, and almost 15 thousandths, 14.9 finish margin. So I kept it a little bit tighter there, but yeah, I was standing on the brakes pretty good for that one. He had a somewhat bad reaction there also, 0.128. So that 003 gets me a bye run for the 4th round of eliminations. I'll show you that pass and we'll talk about it.
Runs a 642 at 107 miles an hour.
Surprisingly, I won that one. It was a bye run, so of course I did. Still stayed dialed to 640, stayed in it all the way to the floor. You see the mile per hour's back up, 107.48. Car won a 642 with an 8. And that was in the right-hand lane. So kind of at that point, in my mind, if I was going to run right lane, I probably would have dialed a 42 again. But I think I just stick with a 40 for the next round. So 143.49, 60 foot. Earlier, let me find, there's my last right lane there. See those two, 143.1, 143.99. So the right lane 60 foot for me was a little bit slower. I don't know if everybody had that or not, but it is what it is. So you just dial for it and get ready. Round number 5.
Joe in hot pursuit. Off and running. The red light goes to Mopar Joe. He's going to the final with a 644 on this 640 dial. Had a beautiful 011 reaction time. His opponent in the final, going to be the Isuzu, Little Ricky.
There's round number 5. I'm in the left-hand lane. I'll dial a 640. I have another 141 60 foot, which is right on par with my other 60 foot in the left lane. 141 with the 2.5, 142. So if I'm having that 141, we know we're going to pick up speed there. See, my mile per hour is way down again, 98.9. So I am on the brakes again. And a 088 finish margin, so I was plenty far ahead. His light was a little bit, it was a little lackluster, 135 reaction there, so I was plenty far out ahead, but I'll take that 011 there. That's looking a lot better. And I'm kind of getting in the zone. This is elimination number 5, so that brings me to the final round. So before I show you this final, I wanted to take you back 1 minute and show you how I lost last year at the No Name Nationals during the bracket race in round number 2. So it's been a year almost to the day that I made a lot of great improvements and testing with my car. Drew built me an excellent transmission. It's been working all year long. I think I've got over 100 passes on it this year. I've been out going and racing and running. I think I was able to get out 5 or 6 times, at least 5 or 6 weekends, and really had some great luck with my bracket program this year. So kudos to him, and thanks to old Cope here. I got his valve body in now. It's not a trans brake. I'm not a trans brake racer. I think it's also worth giving a big shout out to Mike Ivan at Top Line Converter. My converter has been perfect all year long for me. It is exactly what I need in the car for bracket racing and doing what I'm doing. So next video, you're going to see my nitrous passes, and we're going to talk about some other stuff. But until then, let's get back to the final at the 2024 No Name Nationals bracket race.
Suzu will have the advantage at the starting line with the first opportunity, taking a green light. Joe's going to have to be patient. Goes to Ricky, takes home the win and an extra $100 bonus. It did not go to a perfect reaction time.
And there's my final pass, an 046 red. I have to comment again how proud I am about this car. Look at the 60 foot, 141 with an 8, okay? That's in the left lane. Let's keep going. 141 with an 8, my last pass in that left lane. Even, let's go down one further. 141 with an 8, 1, 148, 141 with an 8 and a 2, 411, 5.6, 411, 5.1. You see how it's just barely picking up, and 639 with an 8. So I did, once I red lit, I went ahead and stuck it to the floor hard as I could. I was off my dial by almost 2,000, so all that's fine. I was very, very close to having a perfect reaction and a perfect dial in that day, so that's really great. He had a 49 with a 7, which was better than a few of mine over here. There's a 60 and a 62, but you know, anything can happen in bracket racing. So here's the facts. Several things. It doesn't matter how good of a drag racer you are. If you turn on the red light, you lose, unless the other person red lights before you. Anyway, the best I can tell, and Blake from Bad Tree also commented to me, he got me a good video to show, I rolled just a little bit too deep into that staging beam. After I turned that light on, the car, I could feel it move a little bit further forward, but I was trying to be in the zone. You know, hundreds of people have walked up to me during that day. We've talked, we shook hands, and I get back in the car and I have to be back in bracket mode. And I didn't compensate for that little bit of rollout, so boom, I go red. And the winner was Little Ricky is actually his name, and he is I believe the track owner's son. So it's absolutely a home game for him. A really nice guy, but he races there about every weekend. So he's involved with the track. He's there all the time. So it was cool for him to win. All in all, it was a success to me. If you'll remember what happened last year, I've come a long way since then. I'm finally starting to get my bracket program back consistent and with great traction. So that's it. I appreciate y'all watching. And what, you got anything to say, Cope? He's real quiet today. He even hung out in the pits with us most of the weekend, but I want to share some other footage from the event at the end of this. Some really nice cards there, some fast cards. A lot of people showed up and gave it their all, and that's what actually matters, right? So I appreciate y'all watching, and next time we'll spray some nitrous and see what happens. Got us some good looking Mopars lining up the stage. This will be the very first passage down the track. I think Blake and Patrick might get to have a little run off. We'll see. There's Jeff's dragster. They're gonna run it alone. And there's Ross's Challenger and Hippie's 4-door beat out dart swinger.